A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
High noon and welcome in. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder, and joining me, IRL, in real life, in his return to the Milwaukee airwaves from the state of Wisconsin, throughout the state of Wisconsin. He is the one. He is the only. Now, there's probably a few others with a similar name. I bet, it's not that uncommon a name. He is the superstar, Tommy Wirtz. Hello, Thomas.
You haven't had to have the producer mic up and on all
I
week.
haven't,
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Good to be back. No days off. Hashtag no days off. How was last week?
Sad? No, it was fine. It was good.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, no, Mason and I held it down.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of each show kind of every day. Saw you had Camille pop in for a couple segments.
Yep.
Also, she's the best. You used all of our friends, so I have to wait like a month to talk to Andy and Pete all over again too. But
the morning show also stole Andy this morning.
But
love you inside Wisconsin sports.
Yeah, it was a great week. I am very glad to be back in Milwaukee, though.
I bet.
I know I was like, I would never leave this place.
You loved it there when you first got there. You were like in love.
I actually do love that place still, but I just also wanted to not ruin it almost. And we had a crazy last day of travel that was, I get travel anxiety.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's not the plane at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm never worried when I'm in the air or there's turbulence or anything like that. It's everything leading up to getting through TSA. Like that just always stresses me out. Every time I travel, it's like it's the first time I've ever been on a plane in my life.
That's fair. All right. If I told you that next year you're going for a month, and while you're there, you have to focus on the Brewers and the interviews and the games, and you don't have to focus on the 700 other things you're doing, but you can just go and enjoy Arizona to an extent and be the host of the hot stove, of the spring training, of the leadoff show, of the post-game show. You can just be that guy for a month. What would you say?
Well, first of all,
but you'd have to be gone for a month.
I don't want to sound like I'm avoiding the question. Baseball next year, I'm going to guarantee I'm not there.
Fair.
I'm going to almost guarantee spring training gets blown up.
Yeah.
I don't hope that happens,
of course,
but I would be very shocked if I am in Arizona next year with the state of baseball, the CBA, and all that going on. However, a month feels like too long. Okay. A week might have been too short.
Okay.
Somewhere in that happy medium of 10 days. I would like to go maybe on a Friday and then not the Sunday that's coming up, but the following Sunday leave. Like get a 10-day in there. Could probably do that. But once I knew that last day, Friday, Saturday, I was ready to come home. I was ready to come home just because I knew I was coming home. It was quite an eventful Saturday rather, getting home. Our flight got delayed only once, which was probably the unluckiest thing. And Tim Allen actually saved the day because before we left the Airbnb and we were on our way to the airport. And before I really left, Tim was like, hey, can we stop at the gas station, get a Gatorade? So we went to the gas station, picked up a Gatorade.
Sounds normal.
And then I did the whole pocket smack, forgot my wallet at the B&B. So we were only 2 minutes away. I was able to turn. Dude, I have no idea.
The car was packed. You had everything?
Everything. I left.
Phone keys, wallet.
I know.
Phone keys, wallet.
And I left my wallet at the
B&B. And it was right there? It was like sitting right there?
Literally, yeah. Well, when I walked in, the cleaning crew was like, yep, here it is. They knew exactly why I walked back in.
Yep.
But if Tim Allen never asked for that Gatorade, I'm going to be returning the rental car and realize I don't have a wallet.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's wild.
That started off my day.
But you made it.
We made it.
You
We're
made it
here.
back. You're home. And free agency is officially open, not officially open. Negotiation is open.
You are allowed to tamper legally,
but it's not tampering. But you are allowed to negotiate legally. You are allowed to come to agreements legally, but you don't sign until Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with Malik Willis. Malik Willis, 3 years, $67.5 million with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to assume at least the first 2 years of that are guaranteed. I don't know if the whole thing is. I don't know if we've seen the guaranteed money yet, but that's $22.5 million. Rumors throughout the weekend that Malik Willis would end up with the Arizona Cardinals. And then today, early this morning, when Miami announced that they were going to eat the $99 million on Tua's contract in dead money, then I think the mindset changed, that Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan got involved in the conversation and said, we believe in Malik Willis. We don't want him going to the Cardinals. We don't believe in Tua. We need a new face of the franchise. We need to turn the page on the Tua, Tyreek Hill, whatever, and we are moving forward with Malik Willis.
Would you rather, if you're Tua, are you looking at this and laughing because you get some sort of guaranteed money, whatever, or do you feel bad that a team would pay $100 million for you to not be on their team?
A little bit of both, but
right.
I think mostly I'm laughing.
Right, you're getting paid.
You're getting paid, right? Like Tua, whatever the guaranteed nut in that contract was, continues. Like the guaranteed money is the guaranteed money with that original deal with Tua. So Tua gets that money. He's now apparently the Atlanta Falcons are looking at Tua. So we'll keep our eye on Tua. We'll keep our eye on Kyler Murray and Geno Smith. As the quarterback carousel always is entertaining. But there's specific Packers news as well, of course, not just Malik Willis leaving. We found out yesterday, Sean Ryan coming back, 3-year 39, though not really. It's more like a 2-year 20-ish, 22. And Sean Ryan will be the starting center for the Green Bay Packers moving forward after starting 9 games there last year, playing fine. I don't know that he played significantly better than Josh Myers the year before,
right?
Who got what, 2 years,
2 years, $2 million a year, or
right,
something like that. 2 years
to be a backup with the Jets this year.
Yeah,
the offensive line was clearly much better 2 years ago than it was this year. Now that had nothing to do with Sean Ryan. That had more to do with Elton Jenkins. That had more to do with Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks renegotiated to half his contract, but it basically guarantees that he will be here next year.
Yep.
So it'll turn into a 3-year deal. I think a lot of times when these guys sign 4-year deals and there's a lot of non-guaranteed money, they end up being 2-year deals. But because of the renegotiation, Aaron Banks will at least be a 3-year deal with the Packers. And we think we know the offensive line, right? We think it's Jordan Morgan, Aaron Banks, Sean Ryan, Anthony Belton, and Zach Tom. And that is your starting 5. And if I told you that's your starting 5, and whoever they draft, and if they sign another guy, but that's your starting 5, how do you feel if that's your starting 5?
I don't even necessarily know if I want to say I feel better about it because of the personnel. I feel better about it because of the personnel, the lack of turnover across it. That was the positive about the offensive line in 24-25. It was the same guys played 16 games together, and the offensive line was able to become a unit during that time. They gel as one. This year, we were moving Elton Jenkins around. We're moving Sean Ryan around. We're moving Anthony Belton around. There was no consistency on the offensive line. Now, the Packers get to shore up their O-line. They already know about it heading into 2026-27. I think that's a beautiful thing. The defensive line, however, going to look completely different for the Green Bay Packers, it sounds like.
Yeah. Defensive line, you said? Yeah. With Colby Wooden gone, going to the Colts in the Zaire Franklin trade, with Rashan Gary gone. All right, so let's get to the Rashan Gary trade before we get to the trade over the weekend with Wooden and Franklin. I mean, God bless Jerry Jones.
Thank you, Jerry.
God bless Jerry Jones. Again, not as big a deal as Micah Parsons, obviously. Not even close. But to get a fourth rounder for a guy you were going to release,
I think
to get a fourth rounder for a guy you were going to release, man, I love that. There are some things, and I've been very vocal about this. There are some things I don't love about Goody. Like, I think Goody doesn't quite go all in, though. Listen, he went and got Parsons last year.
Sure.
So he went all in there. I don't know that I always love what Goody does, but then sometimes I just love what Goody does. And getting a fourth rounder for Rashan Gary, man, I'll take that all day, and I will laugh to the bank.
Right. And this is, you say, not as big of a deal as the Micah Parsons deal. I get that it's not, but as you said, Mitch, Rashan Gary was going to be gone. And how about this, right? We had heard the news over the weekend per Rashan Gary that he was going to be not with the Green Bay Packers.
He did. I don't think he got hacked. I think he hit send before he meant to. I think his team created that, and he was like, "Oh, cool." And instead of going to the next page on his phone, he hit send or post by accident.
Mitch,
I don't think he meant to post it, but he definitely had it ready to go.
Did you see Rashan Gary's Instagram today?
Is it the same exact post?
It's the exact same post.
Right, that's what I'm saying. His team created that, and they sent it to him to proof, and he posted it before. And I actually don't think he meant to post it because he knew he wasn't traded or released yet. And I don't think this forced anything. Like, they were going to trade him or release him regardless.
Yeah, he was gone.
I just think it was like a dumb, like, he doesn't know how to use social media.
Do you think that he was not traded and he was being told he was going to be released, or you think he knew he was going to Dallas and he still broke the news too early?
No, I think he was told you won't be a member of the Green Bay Packers next year.
Okay.
And
2027 fourth round pick, by the way,
right.
just in case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So not this year, but next year.
Still worth it.
Yep. Interestingly, I thought that JJ, aka Kingsley, and Igbare, 1 year, $10 million to the Jets. First of all, Kingsley, my man, bro. Nobody's going to the Jets, man. What are you doing?
Well,
what are you doing? What are we doing? The Jets. Come on, you got to avoid the Jets, don't you?
No,
they are such a mess.
Because my first thought was, dude, Kingsley, congrats on the bag. Who is giving Kingsley and Igbare $10 million a year? I don't care if it's a 1 year deal.
Really?
That's a massive bag for Kingsley and Igbare.
You like that better than 3 for 21?
Oh yeah. Go get your $10 million.
But now he's got to prove it and stay healthy.
Sure, but
which isn't easy. I mean, the Jets are going to stink. What's he going to prove?
Yeah, I think that he's going to stink on a team that stinks, so he might be able to stand out in that fashion.
Okay.
He'll be better than stinks. He was fine last year. It felt like in his limited role.
No, I don't.
He was fine. I just didn't think it was $10 million.
Right. I just think he'll stink because the team stinks, not because he stinks.
Right.
I actually agree. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's solid.
But the Jets are just such like a mess that like by midseason, who knows what they're going to look like?
Well, I think that the Rashan Gary news that we heard from earlier today was about as perfect. This is about as perfect of a weekend for the offseason to start for the Green Bay Packers, in my mind, where you get the deal for Zaire Franklin. Now, the repercussions of this, how do you feel about Quay Walker not being a member of the Green Bay Packers next year?
I don't love it, but I think we had resigned ourselves to it, right? Like, I think we, expectations are all about how you prepare yourself for certain situations, not when the situation happens, but are you prepared for the situation? And I think we've been managing our expectations since the offseason started. Since the offseason started, we started preparing ourselves that Quay Walker is going to be gone, Rasheed Walker's gone, Malik Willis is gone. What?
I kind of wanted, I think in the middle of the year, I had made the decision that Quay was going to be back.
Yeah, I think I agree with that too. I think we all thought that too. But as the offseason started, I think it sounded more and more like he was not going to be back.
Sure.
And obviously when they didn't pick up the option, and then when it didn't even seem like they were negotiating with him. But this probably means Quay is gone for sure. The Ravens, by the way, just signed a punter to a 3-year, $12.3 million deal, the highest paid punter in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that?
I mean, I think we just need to get Mason on and talk about kickers.
Zaire Franklin deal. Your first initial reactions to it?
My first initial reaction is I don't like it. Like, I get you have to replace Quay Walker, and so in that vein, I like it. But I like big dudes up front. Like I said this at the end of the year. I wondered out loud if the cornerback position would get covered up a little bit if the D-line was better, if the interior push was better. And I think Wooden was part of that. Was he Devontae Wyatt? No, Devontae Wyatt is the stud there.
Right.
They need a healthy Devontae Wyatt. But with Wooden there, he's another one of those guys that can get that done. And so now I'm just more concerned about the defensive line. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. We've got the Zaire Franklin for Colby Wooden trade. We've got Rashan Gary for a fourth rounder to the Cowboys. Sean Ryan, 3-year, $39 million deal, though probably a bit less than that. Malik Willis is going to Miami. Kingsley Enagbare is going to the New York Jets. What do you want to see the Green Bay Packers do? Have the Packers, so they traded Gary this morning, but since 11 a.m., since free agency tampering or negotiating opened up, the Packers have not actively done anything. Am I right? They've not done anything since 11 a.m. So what's the first thing you want the Packers to do? When it comes across the bottom line on the McAfee show or on NFL Network or on whatever it is, Tommy, what's the first thing you want to see the Packers have done today? And is there a chance? The answer is nothing. Is there a chance they don't do anything today?
Defensive tackle scares me. And that was the first thing I thought.
That the position on the team right now,
the personnel of defensive tackle right now scares me. Yeah, I that was my initial reaction as well, Mitch, was, wow, giving up Colby Wooden, who, by the way, I think is a replaceable NFL player, but he's just a depth piece in general. I think that at the end of the year last year, we had said how big of an impact Devontae Wyatt was, and when he went down, how terrible the defensive line became.
True.
Now you get rid of another piece that you had there. You have to invest heavily in the position. Will they do it in free agency? I could see a Javon Hargrave type move. If they're going to make any move, Javon Hargrave. That's the one I think that would make me the happiest today from the signings. Now, I don't know how much you might believe the smoke where there's fire on Jalen Carter.
Oh, I'm not buying it.
Dude.
I know Andy Herman just said it's like 1% to 2%.
I get it. I get it.
He didn't say zero.
He didn't say zero. And Micah Parsons
we love Andy
was
Herman,
1 to 2%.
Yeah, he was.
It felt like for a little bit of time. I would trade every pick.
So Kingsley Enagbare just got 1 year, $10 million.
Yep.
Alex Anzalone, our good friend from the Detroit Lions, right? I like Anzalone.
Yeah.
2 year, $17 million deal with the Buccaneers.
Interesting.
So
he looks like a Buccaneer.
Right. Less per year number. I like him. I like his athleticism. Isaiah Likely goes from the Ravens to the Giants.
Nice.
Kenny Gainwell goes from the Steelers to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers making news. Austin Hooper, was he on Cleveland this year?
Man, I feel like he's everywhere all the time.
Yeah, he's back to the Falcons.
Okay.
Demario Davis, veteran linebacker, goes back to the Jets, had been with the Saints.
Jets are going here.
Had been with the Jets, then went to the Saints, now back with the Jets. But the biggest one is the Titans are bringing back Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, like let's you shut down the bridges when Mitchell Trubisky.
Don't forget the Super Bowl MVP.
That's right. I actually think that's a huge deal. And Kenneth Walker III, K9, if you will, because we'll see if he wears number 9 with the Chiefs. He goes from the Seahawks to the Chiefs. I think this is a huge win for the Chiefs. I know they tried to make Pacheco happen. I don't think Pacheco ever happened. I think they tried to make Kareem Hunt happen, and Hunt would have happened like if he could have stayed healthy and if he could have stayed out of trouble.
Yeah.
Right. I think Kenneth, and I don't know when Mahomes is back. Like November 1st. I don't know what the hopeful date is for him. But Travis Kelce announces he's coming back for 1 more year. I think Walker is a great pickup for the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are going to make one last run here.
One more?
I think they're going to try. I don't know. The Patriots signed Gilliam, the fullback from the Bills. Man, Tommy, do people still use fullbacks in the NFL?
Alec Ingold going to the Chargers. He's back up with McDaniel over there.
I just remember Derek Watt was with the Chargers. The other Watt, remember him?
Yes.
The third Watt.
Yeah, I remember fullback. Derek Watt. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Well, I know you remember Derek Watt, but Yeah, he played as long as fullbacks were relevant.
So going over to the Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250 if you want to be a part of the show. Coming in from the 509, I wonder if Quay goes to Detroit now. That would suck. That would suck.
All right. Here's my question for you then. And everybody on the text line 414-677-1250 can answer this as well. For a long time, for the past 10 years, I feel like since Greg Jennings, we've seen a pipeline of Packers leave and go to the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the, why are you going to the Vikings? And part of the was that the Bears and Lions sucked, right? So we didn't really care what was going on with the Bears and Lions. Well, now all four teams arguably are good.
Sure.
Which would hurt more? Quay going to the Vikings, Quay going to the Bears, who just got rid of Tremaine Edwards, or Quay going to the Lions? Which would hurt more?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't want him in the division. I don't. I think
agree.
he might have
I agree.
figured something out, man.
Yeah.
I liked Quay. I really did. I think the Zaire Franklin deal is good, though. You get a little bit older. Team's been so young. Got a veteran Pro Bowler in there. And ultimately, is he just going to compliment Edgerrin Cooper, or is Edgerrin Cooper going to compliment him? Because they still have Edgerrin Cooper, who's an absolute superstar.
Right. I mean, Cooper's got to be a beast this year. I think Franklin's a guy. I think Franklin starts and plays well, but I don't think there's anything special about Zaire Franklin.
From Ron in Rome, it was a great lesson for you, Tommy. I guarantee you'll never forget your license again. That is not the first time I've forgotten my license in an airport setting. So I've lost my wallet in LAX.
That's
LAX,
amazing.
and got it sent to me. Someone found it, turned it in, and sent it back to me.
That's awesome.
So I can guarantee you I will. You know why I lost it, Mitch?
Yeah.
I took my AirTag died. I took the AirTag out a week or two before.
Yeah, that's
exactly why I lost it, because there was no AirTag in there. So on the agenda at some point today or tomorrow, go get an AirTag battery.
And you've the AirTag in your wallet?
I did have the AirTag in my wallet. I have nothing in there right now.
I had a tile. The tile similar.
Same idea, right?
I had that, but it was big and bulky. I need the thin one that just slides.
I need an AirTag for my wallet.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I love this wallet. Seriously, sentimental value with this wallet, and I still lose it.
There's nothing wrong with loving your wallet.
Yeah.
414-677-1250. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. We will keep you updated with the free agency frenzy that is going on in the NFL right now. We will talk a little Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Tyler Brooke, best available. He'll join us to talk NFL at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. And we'll talk some March Madness. The Wisconsin Badgers, without Nolan Winter, going into Purdue and getting a win. So impressive. Saturday afternoon, 97-93. Badgers take down Purdue. Tommy Wirtz is here. My name's Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Tommy Wirtz is here as well. It is NFL Free Agent Palooza Day here in the United States of America as we watch everybody getting signed. The Bears have made a signing. Tommy, they signed safety Kobe Bryant from the Seattle Seahawks. The champion Seattle Seahawks. Let's see if we have any details as I click on the link. Nope, just says they're signing Kobe Bryant. I don't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. We'll
I'm not worried about it.
Nope.
I'm not worried about it. I think that this Bears team, they are in full
three years, $40 million. Seahawks defensive back. 3 years, $40 million.
Are you worried about Al Harris with them? Like Rashan Wright kind of getting the good year?
I'm also worried about coming from a winning program.
Here's the
coming
thing.
from a winning program.
Here's the thing. Free agency in the NFL is completely different than any other sport.
Okay.
And that is because really free agency in the NFL means one team didn't want you.
What do you mean?
Meaning that, for instance, in baseball, free agency, you can price yourself out of a team, right?
Okay.
I mean, the Brewers were never going to get Kyle Tucker. The Cubs were never going to be able to afford Kyle Tucker.
Right.
Therefore, the Dodgers go out and sign Kyle Tucker.
Yes. Okay.
In football, everyone's working with the same money.
Right.
And you can decide basically who you want on your team based on the fit for your team. The cap in football can be manipulated very easily.
It can be. There are still parameters. Like when a quarterback goes from his rookie deal to a next deal, that changes things.
Sure, but every quarterback who's good, but virtually stays on their team to keep that second deal. Now there are anomalies like Sam Darnold, for instance, but very rarely are you seeing free agent quarterbacks the next year win a Super Bowl because of how it happens. When a team like in the NBA, free agency, it feels like you never get to free agency, right? You get signed and traded and signed again. Free agency in the NFL is different. You know who spent the most money last year? I mean, the Vikings were like the second most, and they went 9-8
because they had a quarterback on a rookie deal and thought they had something.
And now they're cutting guys like Javon Hargrave because of their free agency deals they made with these guys over the last couple of years.
And they're going to need to sign a quarterback.
I'm more excited that the Packers are trading during free agency than signing free agents.
Okay.
I am.
Cade Mays goes to the Lions from the Panthers, so they get their center after numerous defections on that. I mean, their offensive line is still a mess.
Will the Packers make a signing before the show ends?
I don't think so.
Well, they did bring back Nick Neiman. Also, remember that.
I didn't remember that. When did that happen?
But
did that actually happen?
Yeah, yesterday, I believe it was. During this.
I never even. You know what? All my apps didn't give me an alert for Nick Neiman. Come on, Andy Herman. I thought we were gonna get a Nick Neiman update.
So the Malik Willis deal, just kind of an update. It is $45 million guaranteed in the money. So it's really like it's a two-year deal, $45 million, and let's see what happens for that third year.
Yep.
What's the comp pick situation like for that then? I don't think they get the third round pick out of that.
No, they get something.
They're going to get like a fourth rounder probably for something like that. Yep. Did you say this Alec Pierce deal yet?
No.
Because that was kind of the first move at 11 o'clock.
That was immediately at 11 o'clock, I feel.
4 years, $116 million for wide receiver Alec Pierce to stay with Indianapolis.
$29 million a year to be a number one wide receiver. Like, it seems a lot for Alec Pierce, but maybe it's not.
Well, they traded Michael Pittman to the Steelers,
right,
so
they got rid of that.
We'll see what happens if Aaron Rodgers decides to go back to Pittsburgh, if he has now Metcalf and Pittman together, which might be a cool one too.
Right. I mean, they had Metcalf and nobody last year.
Christian Watson could get a bag if Alec Pierce is getting $29 million a year.
What's Romeo Doubs going to get? Does his number go up because Pierce gets his bag?
I kind of thought that Romeo Doubs was going to be in that 15 to 20 million range when things started, but yeah, I would be very shocked if Romeo Doubs isn't making 4 years, $100 million now at this point.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. What move do you want to see the Packers make right away? Tyson chiming in, Bears, and 414 also says writes in, and 443 writes in, all would be much more upset if Quay Walker went to the Bears than the Lions or the Vikings. I tend to agree with that. We asked that question in the last segment. Who would you be most upset with Quay Walker if he went to the Vikings or the Bears or the Lions, with the knowledge that so many Packers over the years have gone to the Vikings? But now that the Bears and Lions are relevant to the conversation, which would feel the worst? And I agree. I think going to the Bears would feel the worst. I think that would suck to see number 7 in the middle, the Bears defense. He's good. They have an opening now with having released Tremaine Edwards. Like, I just think that would be I would be sad, Tommy, if Quay Walker goes to the Bears. I'm with you. I not only want him out of the division, I want him out of the conference. Like, go sign with I don't know who's
Miami, every other one of these guys is,
go down, hang out with Halfley. That's your guy. Come on now. 414-677-1250. Let's go to the phone lines. Ken is in the Falls. Ken starts things off on the Mason Crosby Show. How are you, Ken?
If I were any better, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
I know what to do. Well, never mind. What first move would you love to see the Green Bay Packers make today?
Well, you need a bookend. You need a bookend for Micah Parsons. So there's two guys that are sitting out there. You got, Hendrickson in Cincinnati, and the other kid, Max Crosby. And whatever people are thinking,
Crosby got traded to the Ravens this weekend.
Oh, did he? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't see that. Sorry. So, but you still have an opportunity to pick up a really good bookend for Micah Parsons, and I think that's where they're going to have to look. However, the Packers, like the Brewers, are so unpredictable. Free agency, in the NFL, it's more for the fans having fun, all wishful thinking. But just when you think that you know what they're going to do, they do something that nobody had on their radar.
That's correct.
That's normally what they do. So all this, I wish this, I wish that, and going to the receivers from the receiver aspect, a guy like Dobbs, okay, many concussions. He is not going to get big money in San Francisco. It'll be a short-term deal because there's too many unknowns with him. So it's not the end of the world losing him. And all of this nonsense about Quay Walker, it's simply that, in my opinion. The bottom line is that the Packers are going to fill in where they need to, and they're going to go ahead and draft as well as they normally do. And so with free agency sitting here now and opening up, look for the Packers to make a big splash. I think this is something that they're going to want to do to help Micah Parsons, to help this defense, knowing that in the cornerback, that they need cornerbacks. They'll end up getting another cornerback. Will it be in free agency? Maybe. But the fact, or will it be a trade during the season? Could be. But the Packers are smart that way. But they also realize that mediocrity isn't cutting it anymore. So they're going to have to do something significant.
Hey, Ken.
When I say, yeah.
I love you.
I know.
I think I disagree with everything you just said.
I know.
I don't think the Packers realize they need to make a big splash. I think they made the big splash last year with Micah Parsons. I'd be shocked if they made any type of big free agency deal. Would I like to see Hendrickson in the Packers? Sure. But I don't think there's any way they make a major move like that. It's just not the Packers' way.
But I strongly disagree with you, only from the standpoint that, one, we don't even know the terms of, or at least I haven't heard the terms, maybe you guys have, of both Goody and LaFleur's deals. I don't know if any of those have been discussed yet, were they?
No, we assume 3 to 4 year deals, market rate.
Once again, we're assuming. But here's my point.
But that doesn't affect the salary cap or who they can sign or not sign.
No, but my point is that they're on the hot seat. They've got to make some big moves to get some players in here to go beyond the first round in the playoffs. Their backs are to the wall like there's no tomorrow. So with that being said, the Packers are going to make, in my opinion, at least one big move. It's going to be somebody nobody expected, and everybody's going to go, ooh, wow, Super Bowl maybe. But they need to make some moves, because between the offense being and the defense being you got to get somebody to help Parsons. You got to get somebody to help that offense. So they're going to make a move. No two ways about it. Their backs are against the wall. They got to do it, especially not knowing what we don't know in terms of both Goody, and LaFleur. So that's just my prediction. We'll see what happens.
We sure will. Ken, thanks for the call. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Shannon chiming in from Thailand, and he says, not the Packers way, but Ed Policy ain't the same guy we're used to. No one expected the Micah deal. I agree, but I think the Micah deal was the anomaly. I don't think like the Packers are going into the offseason at this point like, what big splash can we make this year? They're not trying to be Jerry Jones. They're not trying to be Daniel Snyder when he owned the Washington Redskins. I think the Packers are still the Packers, and they're still going to be methodical. They're still going to take their time. They're still going to analyze the market, and they will make moves that make sense. And the Micah Parsons move made sense. But they're not going to spend money on 31-year-old Trey Hendrickson because maybe it'll work out, but he's old. That's not what the Packers do.
No, it's not what they do. They've been the youngest roster in the league for the last 3 years, remember. They don't go out and do the savvy vet type moves. However, they need to get something on the defensive line before the draft. They can't, their depth, they're losing all of it with Rashan Gary, however you might have felt about him, Inekbari, and Colby Wooden all being gone in the last 48 hours now here. It's impossible for them to not make some sort of move on the defensive line at this point. It feels like in free agency.
I agree. And it might just be a guy, but it might be a guy who's played for 6 or 7 years. It might be a guy who takes up space. I don't think they're getting anything dominant, but I think they'll get somebody. I think that's just, more kicking news. I love all the punters going places. Man, it's just like, Pat McAfee must be going nuts.
This is the punter cycle.
Yeah, it really
Punters
is.
are people too.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. We're going to continue monitoring all this, but we got to talk some Bucks. So when we come back, we're going to jump into our favorite topic. They're the best, right? Right? Aren't they the best? We love them. They're the best.
Sure.
The Bucks. I was going to try to make some funny joke between the Bucks and like how UW Green Bay played defense in the second half yesterday. Man, how do you give up 60 points in the second half of a college game? That's a lot of points. Tommy, 60 points.
It's a lot.
I know Doug Gottlieb apologized after the game. That is rough. Are we all on the same page now? The Bucks are not making the play-in and who knows what's going on, but we will find out. 414-677-1250. Some Bucks talk coming up here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. Slapping the bass. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. Tyler Linderbaum, maybe the number one free agent target this offseason. Starting center with the Baltimore Ravens, moves to the Las Vegas Raiders. 3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed. The Raiders absolutely making an investment in Mr. Mendoza's future as the quarterback. They get him a veteran center captain of the offensive line to protect his behind from just getting beaten the crap out of by everybody. Doesn't speak for the rest of the offensive line there in Vegas. But Tyler Linderbaum, now the highest paid interior lineman in the history of the National Football League. So good for him. He got paid. 414-677-1250 is the Nick Law talking text line. K Camp, is it Camp Comp? K Camp writes in on the YouTube channel. Disagree about same old Packers. Look at their free agent signings the past 3 years, plus the Parsons trade and the cutting ties with first rounders like Quay and Gary. They're moving on faster, bringing in more people than ever before. I don't totally disagree with that. They're not exact. I mean, listen, they're never going to be the same as what they were under Ted Thompson, who did not do his due diligence as general manager.
Sure.
So they're more than that. But I don't think they're this freewheeling, free spending franchise that really tries to, they spent a lot on Banks, but they got enamored with what Philly did to them in the playoffs. Right. And they overreacted.
Yep.
And they signed Hobbs, who wasn't an exorbitant deal.
No. Like
it was 4-year, 40-something million. Like it wasn't crazy. And if he can be healthy, maybe he can contribute this year. I think there's still that hope. The year before, obviously getting Josh Jacobs was a big surprise. McKinney was a great deal. No reason that the Giants should have let him go. So you're right. They've brought in more outsiders, but they brought in the same kind, right? They're still bringing in those 26, 27-year-olds. They're not bringing in the 29, 30-year-olds. They're not overpaying for a guy at the end of his career just to get that veteran presence or a guy that they can get 1 year out of. They're just not doing that. So we'll keep our eye on the free agent ticker, see if the Packers do anything. But we gotta at least mention our Milwaukee Bucks, who yesterday at Fiserv, I know Giannis didn't play, but man, 130-91. That's like it. You just listen. You got to try to lose by 39. You got to try for your starting lineup. Your starting lineup 25 had 34 points. Your starting lineup had 34 points in an NBA game. Ousmane Dieng, 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting. Miles Turner, 3 points on 1 of 6 shooting. AJ Green, 4 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Jericho Sims, 10 points on 5 of 5 shooting. What a stud.
Yeah. What was his plus minus?
Minus 30, tied with AJ Green, the team lead.
Oh, man.
Ryan Rollins, 15 points on 5 of 12. Bobby Portis with 18 off the bench. Cam Thomas with 17 off the bench. The two of them outscored the entire starting 5. So you look at that plus minus again. Jericho Sims and AJ Green minus 30. Ousmane Dieng minus 29. Miles Turner minus 27. You then look at the bench. Gary Trent minus 21. Pete Nance, who we like, minus 17. And then back to Ryan Rollins minus 14. Nobody played more than 28 minutes in this game.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the Bucks only trailed by 12 at the half. They got outscored 25-15 in the first quarter. Then they got outscored. So there's 40 total points scored in the first quarter. Then the second quarter, they get outscored 42-40. Like how a game flips like that. And I guess hot shooting accounts for that. So they're down by 12 and then just absolutely obliterated by 18 in the third quarter. And it's over.
Did you guys bring up the Stephen A. Smith saying Doc's going to retire at all?
We
last week?
We did not really.
Like Stephen A. Smith is probably so far removed from journalism now in his day, so I don't necessarily believe it. But I mean, he's got to be retiring, right? Because how are they not firing Doc Rivers at this point?
Right. I mean, they are. I think they're just playing out the string, and I don't know
because he's not even bad enough to tank properly because they can't tank.
Right. They can't tank because of where they are standings wise. They are stuck where they are. They got 19 games left. They've played 63.
Oh my God.
They're 27-36.
They're still watch 20 more games of this team.
No, Tommy, only 19.
Yeah.
Well, you're good. Only 19. But I just wonder if you want Jeng to be here, and if Turner has three more years on his deal, and if AJ Green's going to be part of this team, and Ryan Reynolds is going to be part of this team, and KPJ is going to be part of this team, and Pete Nance is going to be a part of this team. If you have these pieces, are you better off firing Doc Rivers? Are you not better off like you're playing out the string and you're trying to make this happen, but are you just better off cutting ties with Doc Rivers and then just like seeing what you can do with somebody else and like without this cloud of negativity around them? Like, is there somebody else, whether it's Darvin Ham or whether it's outside the organization or whether it's player coach, maybe you just let Thanasis coach the team. Is there a more positive angle that this team could be taking? I don't know the answer to that. KPJ, Kuzma, Giannis all didn't play last night. They're a mess. 414-677-1250. Tommy and Bayview, Kuzma is the best loser in the league. He's the suckiest suck who ever sucked. Yeah, he won a championship with the Lakers, though, in 2020. Like, the team is the mess. No individual is a mess. Tyler Brooke, best available on YouTube, coming up on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
It's the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. We are in the midst of NFL free agency frenzy as they call it the tampering period. I call it the negotiating or the coming to agreement period is open. Deals cannot be signed until Wednesday. But
they've never talked before today.
Right.
They've never talked.
Yeah. No,
it's just all in the last hour. They've finally
just
talked.
happened to get in touch. Travis Etienne goes to the Saints. He's from Louisiana, so he's going back home. Good for him. Jaguars, we'll see how they feel about that. The big signing of the day, or one of the big signings, Tyler Linderbaum, goes from the Ravens to the Raiders. And enjoy. I guess you don't want to win, but you just want to get paid, and that's okay. That's okay too. Like, you got plenty of time to win the rest of your career. Pierce, the wide receiver, huge deal to stay with the Colts. Nothing. Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins. But besides that, there are no huge quarterback. Like, we're not seeing any of these $50 million a year deals. I think most of those get signed during the offseason as players re-sign with their teams, as opposed to getting to free agency. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, friend of the show, Tyler Brooke. He is the founder of Best Available on YouTube. You can find him at Tyler D. Brooke with an E, or at Best Available YT. He's also a writer for the Acme Packing Company. And Tyler, we welcome you back into the show. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I if you're watching this on video, I even got my Mason Crosby jersey in the background, so I always enjoy being on the Mason Crosby show.
He's out all week. You don't have to kiss his butt. It's cool. I know.
His kids are on first spring break.
They
have spring break, and then they have Easter break or something.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Come on.
Yeah, for him.
You worked in high school sports, right? Do kids just not go to school anymore, Tyler?
The 3 years I coached, they always had like the weird days where like they roll into practice with like McDonald's, and I'm like, how did you have time to go to McDonald's? Like, yeah, we have like teacher day where like it's a half day, and then they come in. I'm like, what is this?
All right, hold on, Tyler. Before we get to, I gotta just piss off Tommy real quickly.
Go for it. Yeah. Yep.
I actually had a Tommy rant over the weekend. So tomorrow the juniors are taking the ACT, and so for the freshmen, sophomores, and seniors, they're having an asynchronous day at home. They have to check in on each of their classes. They will have work to do, but they don't have to go to school because they don't want the pressure on the juniors taking their ACT. Like, what?
No,
Just set up the gym with all the desks, and everybody avoid the gym for the day.
No,
what are we doing?
I'm actually on the side of no school on the ACT day, because that's what happened.
God, that's so
what happened.
Soft.
I'm cool with no school on the ACT day, because
I never had that.
That was built in when I was in school. Anything that was built in when I was in school, I'm cool with.
Oh,
yeah,
that is soft.
I'm just saying.
That is SAWFT, soft. And then Wednesday, so that's tomorrow, and then Friday they all get the day off because they're getting on a bus. And going up to Green Bay because the girls made state, baby. What's up, Whitefish Bay?
Do you know what is softer than no school on ACT day? Rashan Gary when he rushes the passer.
Look at me, Mr. Segway. I leave for spring training for a whole week, and I come back, and I'm Mr. Segway again. All right.
Well, then hijack the segue away from me then. Go ahead.
No, you nailed it.
All right. Anyway.
So, Tyler, obviously we get the news before all the free agency frenzy that once again, Jerry Jones going to Jerry and just donate to the Green Bay Packers. He did it again.
The emotional roller coaster of this morning of like, you wake up, you're like, oh, wow, a 3rd round pick for Rashan Gary. That's crazy. And then it's like fixed. It's like, sorry, it's a day 3 pick. And I'm like, all right, that's a little more reasonable, but still you got something out of Rashan Gary. Huge win. And then like another 20 minutes happen and it's a 4th round pick. I just think if you ever need to get rid of a player, you better call Jerry Jones first, because it just seems like he's always in a giving mood. I posted a picture of just Gutekunst smiling when he's on the phone. From now on, I'm just always going to assume when Jerry calls, that's the exact face he's making.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. A player the Packers would have been willing to cut. They get a 4th rounder for, so that is fantastic. But plenty of we're not sure if we expect any Packers news today or in the next few minutes, whatever it might be, but plenty of Packers news over the weekend. So let's go to the Zaire Franklin, Colby Wooden trade. You're well versed in the Indianapolis Colts as well as the Green Bay Packers. Franklin I don't know, did he have a great year 2 years ago, or did he just happen, or did he have a Blake Martinez year where he happened to lead the league in tackles? And then last year, he did not have that type of year, but the Packers make the trade with the anticipation that Quay Walker's not going to be on the team.
I would say it was closer to Blake Martinez, but I think it was still better than that, if that makes sense. The reason the trade happens in my eyes is just neither of those players are scheme fits for their previous teams. It's like, hey, let's just make a player for player swap because it's a better fit for both sides. You really don't see those in the NFL that much, but
no, you don't.
I think his body might be going a little bit. However, I went and watched the tape and I was like, let me just I put it together a video on Best Available on YouTube to just show his best plays. And what I came away with is that even if the body's going a little bit, I watch a lot of linebackers. I've coached linebackers before. His eyes are outstanding. He gets into position very, very quickly. And it makes up for a lot of that limited athleticism, because when he's just triggering immediately, whether it's play action or outside zone or just throwing his face in the inside zone, he's at least getting there quickly, which makes up for a lot of the deficiencies. Now, it's hilarious. The Packers are just addicted to linebackers that struggle in coverage. That's still kind of a limitation for Zaire, but they needed some kind of thumper that is willing to be competitive and physical. And even if Zaire isn't the body type of Quay Walker, he's absolutely going to fill that role just off of sheer determination.
So then compare it. Tyler Brooke, Best Available on YouTube, joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Compare it then. Did the Packers get better if they let Quay Walker leave and Zaire Franklin is the guy, or have to wait and see on that still based on what you've seen out of him so far?
I mean, you got to think about it beyond just the linebacker position and more of a salary cap allocation situation, right? Like, still under contract for 2 more years. The good news about it is, if they cut him, it is 0 in dead cap. So if they move on from him at any point, it's just kind of wiping your hands clean of it. They were never going to be able to afford Quay Walker's deal, in my opinion. Not only do you have that cap flexibility with Zaire now, but you're also adding a starting caliber player in an offseason where you have really poor options at off-ball linebacker. This linebacker draft class outside of Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese is quite weak. And then the free agent class wasn't much better. If you wanted to replace Quay Walker and you weren't going to get him back, the best you could do is Devin Lloyd, who is, kind of in that same boat as Quay Walker. And then it drops off pretty significantly after that. So it's more of just like, hey, I don't think we're going to find any good market value in free agency to replace Quay. Let's just make this trade for a player that wasn't a good scheme fit. And yeah, maybe his best days might be behind him. But, it's kind of a low-risk move. You're moving on from Colby Wooden, who wasn't a scheme fit for Jonathan Gannon. And then you can allocate those resources elsewhere because you got some big extensions coming up. And you might be in a really good situation now for 2027 beyond and take another swing on a really exciting player. I don't know who that is yet, but who knows?
I was wondering if you were going to make some predictions. Tyler Brooke joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. So we saw this move. We saw the renegotiation with Aaron Banks. We saw the signing of Sean Ryan. We started the show by basically just stating that we've got Jordan Morgan, Aaron Banks, Sean Ryan, Anthony Belton, and Zach Tom. Mm-hmm. We assume that's your starters. How do you feel if that's your starting 5 heading into the season?
I think I'm more optimistic on it than most. I think all of the cross training at some of these guys really screwed them up a bit. Sean Ryan with a full offseason of playing center, I feel I actually feel pretty good about because he can absolutely move bodies. And I think having that trait on the interior is good. Plus, I think if you get more comfortable at center, it's going to help. The thing I'm most worried about is Zach Tom with that injury. If he comes back, I think that anchor is good. I thought Jordan Morgan, even playing right tackle, was good. What bothered me is he went viral because like he'd have one bad play. But for a guy playing a position he wasn't used to, I thought he did quite admirably. Anthony Belton is more of a natural guard. And then Aaron Banks, again, another unpopular guy. But second half of the season, I thought he started playing a lot better ball. I think it's an offseason to stop focusing on cross-training and start focusing on specialization. Yeah. And that's where I feel a lot more optimistic about this group. But I also don't know if they're done adding to it. I think there's some really intriguing, versatile offensive linemen that can fill a couple spots in day 2, day 3 of the draft that I'm excited about.
Absolutely. And Tommy, you and I talked about that as well. It's like if guys know what position they're playing and are prepared to play that position, I just feel like that's mentally a much better spot than like, oh, well, you're basically, you're a Pro Bowler or a guard. Let's move you over to center. And Jordan Morgan, you're going to learn 7 different possessions. There's only 5 on the offensive line, and you're teaching him 7 different positions. Doesn't make any sense.
Right. And I think that's probably the next move we'll see is something either Elton Jenkins gets moved or released here, Tyler. But is there any position of need that you think the Green Bay Packers specifically should target in free agency, maybe as opposed to the draft or vice versa heading into 26 offseason?
Yeah, the one thing I keep saying is unless they're going to take a big sign, like a big swing on a corner, because I just don't know. I don't know how much value like a depth signing at corner is going to do right now with the roster. But if they took a big swing at a corner, I'd love that. But nose tackle for me, and I would double dip. I would find a journeyman veteran. Really wanted Kyrus Tonga, who's now a Chief, which really stinks. Just signed like as we're hopping on.
That would have been a good fit. He played really well for the Patriots this year.
Yeah, but Roy Lopez is another Gannon guy who's a pretty admirably solid nose. I love the idea of getting a journeyman veteran at nose and then drafting another in day 3. You just got to improve that. And the thing about nose is just you can get a couple rotational guys and really make that work. And I can see the vision there. But to me, if you can get that addressed, the rest of this defensive roster is in pretty good shape when Micah Parsons is healthy.
They just, they send Colby Wooden away. Is that something that you see as, well, that is a loss, at least for Green Bay in this deal for Zaire Franklin? Because, not that he was Devontae Wyatt, but he was a pretty valuable depth piece, it felt like, at a position that was not very strong for Green Bay last season.
Yeah, I think it's just more of with your moving to this quarter system and how you want to approach the front. It's just it wasn't going to work. He's kind of a tweener for what they were going to be using. So I think that makes a bit of sense. You still got Wyatt. You still got Carl Brooks. Bolster the nose position. And if it's just a player-for-player trade on a guy that was going to be one of these tweeners and wasn't just going to have the impact you really needed on the trenches, I think it was okay to lose that with Zaire, knowing that you probably have some kind of plan in place to bolster the defensive line going forward.
Tyler Brooke joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show on the Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. Follow him at Tyler D. Brooke with an E. Follow him, all the stuff best available on YouTube. Not Packers specific, but what other moves have kind of caught your eye? I know the Bears got the cornerback from the Seahawks. The Lions have signed a guy. They've lost a couple guys, and then just in general around the NFL. What has been interesting to you in this initial frenzy?
Yeah, so I just got off a 2-hour stream reacting on the free agent stuff, so it's all kind of a blur at this point, but I did like a lot of the moves the Jets made. I like that the Jets, for once, don't feel like they're trying to take desperation swings and give like $1 bajillion to one guy and hope that fixes everything. I thought Joseph Osai was one of the most underrated free agents in this class. Every time I watched Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati, I was more impressed with Osai as a pass rusher. They got him on a really reasonable deal. They bring in Kingsley Enagbari on a 1-year deal. They trade a 7th for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And then the one I thought was really interesting is Demario Davis. Like one of the best off-ball linebackers of the last decade, and he's 37 years old, and maybe you paid a lot for a 2-year deal for him. However, you got a veteran, in my opinion, borderline Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he is a Hall of Famer, but like a tremendous player. To be a veteran for what you're most likely going to bring in as an off-ball linebacker at 2, whether it's Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles, having a guy like Davis in the locker room to help teach a guy like that is a really prudent move in my eyes. Like, I don't know if Davis is going to be this impactful player, but these all feel like moves that are not, we are so desperate to be a contender this year. These are patient moves to start building in the right direction. And I just really liked the strategy because it's so much different than what we've seen from the Jets in the past.
I have a question that's kind of interesting and ties into the Packers here. Is Romeo Doubs going to get more money than Malik Willis got in free agency here based on what we just saw from Alec Pierce and something like that?
That's good.
The wide receiver market is crazy right now. I can't envision, because like Mike Evans might be getting 27 a year. That's crazy to me. I really don't know. I can't see it. I think he's like in the 15 to 18 million range, which is a great payday for Romeo Doubs. That's what I'm guessing is for him. Anything above 20 for Romeo Doubs would kind of shock me, to be honest.
Alec Pierce just got 29 million.
Yeah, he stretches the field and he's a gigantic athletic body. Doubs will play a specific role, but as far as a wide receiver one where like you need to force feed a guy, like I just can't envision that. I think he's going to get a nice payday. I can't see the Alec Pierce money.
No, I'm just saying. I couldn't believe when I saw that, and I thought Romeo Doubs, I agree with that range. That's kind of what we've been seeing. But now I wonder if he's going to make more than Malik. What's your reaction to Malik Willis gone and getting his payday in Miami and joining the Packers down there? Oh, wait, sorry, the Dolphins.
The Miami Packers.
Everyone they just took the entire offseason.
I love it for both sides. I think it's great to see Malik Willis get a bag. Super happy for him. And at the same time for the Jets, it's the Justin Fields deal, but with slightly more guaranteed money, which means this might not work. But if it doesn't, it's not completely franchise devastating, altering, like taking $99 million in dead cap for Tua. It's not that bad.
That's amazing.
I'm so curious about what it's going to look like. You got to run a very tailored offense for Malik Willis's skill set. But if you can do that correctly and get some weapons around him, it's going to be really fun. I'm just happy for the guy, man. Like, getting to watch him fill in. It was one of the most fun backups I've ever watched have to fill in on short notice. And I think as much as people get frustrated with the coaching staff, it is absolutely a testament to Matt LaFleur and that offensive staff for having, you know how hard it is to put in a completely different playbook, basically, for a different quarterback and have everyone on the same page. That's really freaking hard. And they executed it to perfection, to the point where this is a franchise that traded a 7th for Malik Willis and is likely going to get a 3rd or 4th round comp pick because of it. That is a massive win.
Yep. Quarterback gurus. It'll be interesting to see who they bring in next year to be the backup. And if it's a quarterback that we don't know, or if it's a quarterback that we know who just wants to rehab their image after 1 year in Matt LaFleur's quarterback school. One of the questions we were asking, Tyler, on the show, for the past, since Greg Jennings, we've seen so many Packers leave to go to the Vikings, right? Like that seems to be like a very common route for former Packers to go to the Vikings. Well, part of that is because the Packers and the Vikings were the only two good teams in the division. The Bears stunk and the Lions stunk. Well, now everybody's good. What would hurt the most to see Quay Walker in the uniform of another NFC team? What uniform would hurt the most?
That to me is the Lions.
Okay.
It just like the way I'm thinking about this with the way you phrase that question is that getting Dan Campbell, like this really tough-nosed physical guy, to unlock that part of Quay Walker, I still believe. I will pound the table. I know how frustrating it was with his time in Green Bay. When he was playing his best ball, it was awesome. And you started to see it more and more consistently. I'm really, as a fan, like proud of him, which is weird to say, but the way he matured emotionally and mentally over his NFL career, like that ejection in the playoffs was a really tough. Was it playoffs or end of the season? Really tough.
Last game, wasn't it, against the Lions? Yeah, I remember it. Yep.
A really tough look. You can tell he's devastated because he felt like he let the team down. Like seeing him grow from that and become a more consistent player, I honestly thought like he really was kind of what he was supposed to be. But the idea of him going to a Dan Campbell defense, like getting that, being that like enforcer in the middle of it and like turning the Lions back around, that would really stink.
And anything you're looking forward to? Whether it's a big move or a move, probably I still don't think it's going to happen today. I think we're a couple days away. But is there a specific player or position that you are like? Is it that D line that we talked about? Is it potentially offensive line? Could it be in the defensive secondary, or do they just go like whoever they like on their free agency big board, and regardless of position.
It's going to be Wednesday once the league year officially starts. It's going to be when the Vikings cut all those guys they're holding hostage right now for trade pieces, and it's going to be Javon Hargrave, the defensive tackle.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about him earlier today, and we both are on board with supporting that proposition.
Listen, for a guy that's quote-unquote undersized for a nose, he is so damn physical at the point of attack and be really disruptive. I just think he checks so many boxes for what I'm looking for in my hypothetical strategy of sign a journeyman vet and get a rookie to back him up. Harder is like the dream scenario for me, so I am keeping a close eye on that. But that's going to be their free agent strategy regardless, is waiting for all these guys to get cut at the league year.
And that makes sense. How much of that and defensively in general do you think is factored in, like trying to match up, whether it's guys Gannon has a relationship with, from Philly or from Arizona, or guys who fit his scheme specifically? How important is it that they focus on that on the defensive side of the ball?
When you're building a team, you don't want to make it everything, but certainly you want to work with the coaching staff to get players they like, to make it a little easier. Now, I think you got to get players you like, the coach like, but you also like, because you never know how long the coach is going to be there. Especially in Green Bay, it's either the defensive coordinator goes so horribly they get fired, or they do so well they get hired to be a head coach. So you can never plan that to be the only reason, but it should certainly play some kind of factor.
All right. Tyler Brooke, you can follow him at Tyler D. Brooke. That's Brooke with an E on all the socials. Also, best available on YouTube. Tyler, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We had an absolute blast. I know you just said you got off doing an hour or two. Our good friend Justice Mosquito was on that as well.
Yeah.
So check that. That's at best available on YouTube, I assume.
Yeah, check that out. We were just ranting and raving. I made a rookie mistake and did not bring water with me onto the live stream, so my voice is hurting a little bit right now. But it's free agency.
Couldn't you just tell Justice to go on a 45-second rant and you walk over?
No, here's the issue. Every time he hopped on, a new Packers related move happened, whether it was Eric Stokes getting a deal or Enigvari, so he kept having to hop off. I can't hold him to that. We never know. Assuming we did that was probably going to be when one of these big signings happens. So
that's how it works. That's always how it goes 100%. Down. Well, keep your eyes and ears peeled. It's still going on. Like you said, Mike Evans, they're throwing around that $27 million per year number. I can't imagine he's got that much left, though.
No, that number blows me away. It doesn't seem like he's going to go back to Tampa, but it's too much money for him, man. I know he's a winning player. That's insane.
Yeah, I would take that money. No big deal.
Same.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, thank you so much for jumping on. We'll definitely catch up with you closer to the draft and get all the updates then as well.
All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
You bet. Tyler Brooke, best available on YouTube, does great work there. He joined us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
Nice.
I assume everybody said it with me in their cars or watching on YouTube or wherever.
Someone did.
So you think one person did?
One person.
If one person did, I feel like I have fulfilled my destiny.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. We're going to keep our eye, of course, again on free agency as we've been doing all day. But we do want to talk some college hoops. UW Green Bay season essentially comes to an end. The Badgers with a big win without Nolan Winter and Purdue. Marquette upsets number 4 UConn. Danny Hurley loses his brain. That was awesome. The Packers with the big trade with Zaire Franklin and signing Sean Ryan. Dusty Evely, film guru, great friend of our show.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to jump on with Sparky this afternoon on Wisconsin Sports Daily. So make sure to listen to that 2 to 5 this afternoon on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. You are listening to the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. Our thanks again to Tyler Brooke for jumping on via the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Tyler Brooke, best available on YouTube.
And already up on the YouTube page, youtube.com/@WI Sports Radio, in case you missed that.
Wow.
Too.
How'd you get so fancy?
It's
good to have you back, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
Efficiency. I was so ready to get back to work, man. I worked my butt off all week last week.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Mike Evans, 3-year deal with the Niners.
Interesting.
So is Romeo Doubs now not going to the Niners? I would assume not.
You know where he's going.
To the Lions?
He's going to Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Come on.
But they just got Pittman.
He's gonna go. They're
He's
gonna
going there anyway?
They're gonna go give him $15 million. Go be with Aaron.
All right.
Or the Jets. One of the two, right? It's
Yeah.
just like those are the two plaplaces in my mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll find out.
What if he's on the Bears after the DJ Moore trade?
No.
Okay.
414-677-1250. JB in the 920 says, couldn't disagree more about Quay. Yeah, go to Detroit to a quote-unquote hard-nosed Dan Campbell. He's shown he's hard-nosed. It's the discipline that's the issue. I'll take 3 to 4 personal foul penalties a year all day with DC and Quay being tag team partners. LOL.
I feel like Quay Walker beat those allegations. Like, obviously it was a problem in the beginning of his career.
Matured.
Yes.
Matured is the word.
I do believe that he did change as a person on the field, and it was a lot less bonehead mistakes. It was a lot less bonehead penalties, and he was very valuable. And I'm really, this is the game that worries me the most. It is Detroit twice a year now. Detroit twice a year.
More than Chicago.
Without Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper as a duo. That was something that was so valuable to the Green Bay Packers that they had 2 athletic freaks that could cover both sides of the field, and how good the Lions are at running outside the tackles every single week, other than against the Green Bay Packers. I'm nervous about that series. I'm nervous about it with no Quay Walker.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Over the weekend, we saw plenty of college basketball, and so we wanted to get to college basketball, check out what our conference tournaments are going to look like. Green Bay took on Fort Wayne in Indianapolis on Sunday. It was a 2:30 tip yesterday, and Green Bay, I think, trailed by 4 at the half, maybe 6. And Fort Wayne put 60 on them in the second half. They could not miss. I talked to Trevor last night, and he said either they couldn't miss or every shot they missed, they had like a back tap to somebody wide open at the 3, and they couldn't miss. And it was just crazy. So Green Bay could go to the CIT or the CBI or whatever these weird tournaments are, but their season is probably over. And with that being said, to go from 4-28 to 19-15 or whatever it was, I think 19-14, 19-15. I mean, absolute flowers for Doug Gottlieb and the squad in Green Bay. And I'll be honest, I don't want to expect better, but I expect better next year. I mean, it's such a huge, they didn't go 500. They didn't win 10 this year. They went from 4 wins to 19 wins, which is like, all right, how do you got to manage expectations? You got to manage expectations, but a pretty cool situation there. The Badgers beat Purdue without Nolan Winter. Nolan Winter still being listed as day-to-day. Austin Rapp stepped up big time for the Wisconsin Badgers in West Lafayette on Saturday. Badgers get the 97-93 win. Nick Boyd is him. Dude is an absolute stud. And my favorite thing is checking out the Big Ten tournament. I'm a big Big Ten tournament fan. I covered the first 4 or 5 ever Big Ten tournaments when they were all at the United Center. The Big Ten tournament's a lot younger than the other conference tournaments.
Right.
So let's slow our roll.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, late 90s. Yep.
Okay.
Maryland, Oregon in your classic Big Ten matchup.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play day 1. Day 2, we've got USC versus Washington.
Big Ten.
Your classic Big Ten matchup. Your other matchups that we know are Penn State, Northwestern, which is
the All Who Cares Bowl in basketball.
And Indiana, Rutgers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Rutgers, Minnesota. Rutgers, Minnesota will be facing off. the Badgers won't play until Thursday. They will play the winner
Washington,
of USC Washington. And that will be the second game of the morning session on Thursday. Ohio State will play the winner of Iowa, who will play the winner of Maryland, Oregon in the first game. And then half an hour later, the Badgers will play the winner of USC Washington.
This is March. Like March has arrived.
Yes.
Now, Big Ten tournament week, tournament week just in general across college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is when everything starts to happen, right? You're going to get those moments. You're going to get those Cinderellas. You're going to get those upsets. I am so excited. And the Badgers closing out against Purdue, 3 top 10 road wins, I think, according to KenPom rankings on the year.
KenPom, I think, because Purdue is technically ranked 15th.
Yeah.
But the three of the two best wins in college basketball this year belong to the Badgers.
Oh, Mackey on the road, you think it's a top 2 win?
No, Illinois and Michigan.
Oh, well, I mean, Mackey on the road is tough.
Mackey on the road is tough also.
Yeah.
So maybe top 3. But going into that game, the Badgers, according to the metrics, had the 2 best wins in college basketball this year.
So now the question is, are they officially on sleeper watch or off sleeper watch? Like this is a Badger team that second weekend written all over them based on potential.
Absolutely.
And but
it's all about 3-point shooting.
It screams losing in the 6-11 matchup as well.
Because if you go cold from 3, you lose that game.
Yeah, right? I hate this setup right now because we've seen this Badger team, and every time we start to believe in them and think, oh my gosh, turn things around, then they lose to USC, right? Yeah. Or they lose to Washington in this Big Ten. I would almost rather see them lose in the Big Ten championship, or not in the championship, but in the first round they play, get a worse seed, and hopefully then they can bounce back in the tournament. That's the vibe it feels like with the Badger team. You have to see them lose because they're not going to win 3 straight games at this point.
If they win that game, they'll play Illinois.
Okay.
And so that, would you rather them? I'd rather they win that game and then lose to Illinois. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm like, go in as a 6 seed, get the loss out of the way. Let's see if we can put a couple together. The Marquette Golden Eagles have the Big East tournament at which can we still argue it's the best tournament in basketball? Like, is it just because it's at Madison Square Garden?
It's because it's at MSG.
Right.
Yeah. It's not because it's the best in general. I think the Big Ten has the best crop, right?
It probably does. And if are they just alternating between Chicago and Indianapolis at this point? Have they done other spots, or is that really it?
Well, I wonder if Lucas Oil has. Do they have the Final Four is in Phoenix? I know that much because I saw that everywhere.
In Chicago this year.
Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like Lucas Oil should just be in a staple of Big Ten tournament goes through Lucas Oil.
Like the Big Ten tournament, the basketball tournament, the conference championship game in football.
Right.
Just playing Lucas Oil.
Yeah, that's an awesome stadium. I love the cutouts.
I don't love a dome, though. I don't love playing basketball in a dome.
What else do you play it in? You don't play it outside.
No, like in Chicago, they're playing at the United Center. Like I'd rather see it in a basketball stadium than a dome. I don't love dome basketball.
Well, it's popular.
Well, it's popular because the NCAA makes money because they sell the tickets.
Right.
It's not popular. I mean, it's terrible. The players hate it. The fans who go hate it. I don't think it looks good on TV.
Oh, I disagree.
Really?
I disagree completely. Lucas Oil looks sick on TV.
I don't know.
Again, with the elevated court, I think it looks awesome.
I'm maybe
you're anti-elevated court.
I am.
Oh,
I am
okay, old man.
Yeah,
here we go.
There we go. Let's go.
We got there.
We did. I love Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Right.
That's old.
Like Xavier versus Marquette on Wednesday, a 5:30 tip. I'm excited for that. Marquette favored in that game, by the way.
That's crazy.
Early favorite 4.5. Xavier's terrible though. Also, like I think that's part of it. I haven't looked at the standings, who they would play. I'm guessing they play somebody really good, assuming if they win that game.
Marquette draw up an angle of they awoke the beast of UConn if UConn wins the national championship.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like Shaka Smart should get a ring if UConn goes and wins the Natty.
Yeah. How about Danny Hurley? I mean, listen, you can argue and you can get the tease if you want. Like the game's over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But down by 2, less than a second left, they don't get the foul call, and he just goes nuts.
I love it.
He said he didn't think he touched the ref. The ref said he did brush him. The film kind of looks like he did. I don't know. By the way, the Bears signed Devin Bush, linebacker from the Browns.
Nice.
Devin Bush was really good in college.
Was Michigan boy. Yeah, I remember him.
I don't remember a lot of guys from college, but I remember Devin Bush being really good in college.
Was he teammates with Rashan Gary?
I think he's a little younger, but maybe not. Maybe he was. That would make sense, actually.
When did Rashan Gary get drafted? 2017. Does that sound right?
Has he been? No, he hasn't been around for 10 years.
20, maybe it's 2018.
Yeah.
Devin Bush started in Pittsburgh in 2019.
Okay,
so they were teammates
together.
in college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I love this week of college basketball conference tournament week. I'm actually bummed that the Missouri Valley already finished. Like Northern Iowa, if you missed it, the 6th seed wins 4 games in 4 days. They win yesterday. They get the bid. They beat did they beat UIC or Loyola of Chicago? They beat one of the Chicago teams to make it to the tournament. Missouri Valley used to be on the same schedule as everybody else. I think they want it for TV. They moved it, I'm sure, because I'm sure it was on network TV yesterday. And
meanwhile, you missed it on TV.
Meanwhile, I missed it because I know like a lot of the women's tournaments were this past weekend and the men's are this week. But I can't wait. I can't wait for ACC. I can't wait for Big East. I can't wait for Big 10. I can't wait for Big 12. I love all the natural rivals. And yeah, I know we make fun of Maryland, Oregon, and we make fun of USC, Washington, and these different matchups in the Big 10 because the Big 10's had so many changes in recent years. But I love all the natural rivals and then the playing for your tournament life and playing for seeding. I love the passion of the conference tournaments, no doubt about it. 414-677-1250. Ron is in Rome. Let's go to Ron before we get to break. What do you got for us today, Ron?
Well, I thought our best level on the defense was our linebackers. So when I heard about the trade, I'm like, why did we trade for a linebacker? And then I went on Twitter, and everyone in India seemed like they were dancing in the streets, say, good riddance, he's slow, he can't cover.
They did not like him. Yeah, that is true. But also you have to remember that he might not have been a fit scheme-wise, and he might fit better in Gannon's scheme.
He didn't fit the scheme.
Right. But the bigger thing is that Quay Walker's probably leaving. And if Quay Walker's leaving, they needed a guy.
Right. And then I said, well, I heard on another show, they said, well, they probably wanted Zaire Franklin because he adds a little nasty. And I thought, we had a guy who added a little nasty, and the Packers sent him for meditation and counseling. His name was Quay Walker.
Well, you want nasty, but you got to know the line. And earlier in his career, he didn't know that line. He knows that line now, but he's going to cost too much.
Well, and how come Keyshawn Nixon isn't sent for counseling? He just does.
Maybe he is. You don't know he's not
on the street reason for pushing a guy.
Yeah, Keyshawn Nixon is a knucklehead. We agree with that, Ron. Thanks for the call. Ron jumps off. Rams on the north side. Ram, what do you got for us, real quick?
Real quick, Bucks and Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is a sleeper giant killer.
I like it.
They're built kind of like Michigan, but the difference I see is they 3 guard play is better. And Cordell, I think he's a little too little. I mean, that he got exposed in the Duke game.
Okay.
And follows with the Bucks. I see Darvin Ham being the coach because Doc brought him over. I see Doc going up to GM. It's time for John Horst to go. But you got to remember one thing in NBA.
Doc will not be the GM. I'll tell you that right now. Doc, once Doc's done, he's done.
I don't know. That ain't what I'm hearing.
All right. Well, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you the truth.
No, I think they brought him over. If he wants to do the GM, I think. But
then literally no one will ever go to a Bucks game again, and the entire state will revolt.
That can drive talent versus letting our talent get away. You're not going to win with this team with Giannis and maybe Turner. It's not going to happen.
You're probably right. I think Doc needs to go away, and I'm worried that Darvin Ham also needs to go away. Huh?
We don't have a backcourt.
We don't have a coach.
No. We don't have a backcourt. You got to have talent to win.
I totally agree.
I see coaches that are game managers that are winning, but you got to have talent to win in the NBA.
I mean, I think
you got to get 45 points at the NBA level in your backcourt.
Right. Rollins and KPJ get 45 points when they play together. They do. Ram, they do.
They do it against lottery teams, but when they play against the talent team, absolutely not.
They do. Well,
they get cooked.
They do.
I'll be watching this game. I've been a Bucks fan a long time.
Yeah, but nothing that happens the next 19 games counts because they're just trash.
No. We should go in the lottery, like you said.
Right.
Well, okay, real quick. This is what I dislike about the NBA. The football NBA NFL got it right. I think more emphasis should be put on free agency because no rookie is helping the NBA team win. It's not going to happen. So the emphasis should be on like where the free agents are going, like it is in football, because those players can impact the team. A kid out of high school does not have impact the NBA team.
That is true. I'll give you that, Ram. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. We'll come back to wrap things up. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. Yeah, that's right. I can't wait to replay that on YouTube with no music. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch Nellis. He is Tommy Wirtz. Malik Willis, $45 million fully guaranteed at signing. He'll get a bonus of $22.25 million right away. He gets a guaranteed salary this year of just $1.25, but that'll bring him up to $23.5. And he'll make $21.5 million guaranteed next season. So $45 million guaranteed for Malik Willis. The Chicago Bears have signed linebacker Devin Bush to a 3-year, $30 million deal. And according to AI, Quay Walker should make more than that. Devin Bush is a bit undersized and a bit older. Quay Walker, better at stopping the run. So with Devin Bush, a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Bears, $21 million guaranteed, probably means the Bears won't sign Quay Walker. So maybe we don't have to worry about that.
Ask you a quick question in regards to Thunderwatch real quick in case we're not going to do it today?
Sure. Yeah, we're not going to do it today.
Can I take Rashan Gary off the list now?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, we'll get to it later in the week. We got all week.
Yeah.
Are you surprised Quay Walker has not signed a deal? Or it's not been announced that he's agreed to a deal with the way free agency works?
I think he's the best linebacker out on the market. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about Rasheed Walker?
He's going to get a bag. So,
you think?
I mean, good for him. Like, he wants to wait it out and get his bag. I can't believe he's going to make as much money as he is. I cannot believe it.
Rasheed Walker?
Yeah.
$20 million a year? More? 23?
Yeah, probably $20 million, right?
Yeah.
All day?
I would think so. Yeah.
Romeo Doubs going to make more money than Malik Willis now. Watch.
More than the guaranteed or more than the total?
More than $67 million.
More than $67 million contract?
It might be over 4 years.
Okay, all right.
But he'll make more than that $67 million. Yeah.
But he won't make more. Will he make more than 22.5 a year? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Maybe.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay. Wow. Mitch on YouTube without music. That sounded like some kind of mating call. Mrs. Thunder, I'm coming home. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, listen, I didn't say it. 414 said it.
You definitely said it at the end there.
I was just agreeing with them. Like the fans are always right? Okay. Aren't the fans always right?
You have never said that in a serious tone. I've never said that in a serious tone.
Hey, Tommy, it's good to have you back, brother.
Good to be back.
He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nelson. We are the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
I was